At our wedding anniversary party, my wife's friends joked that she had a backup husband in case I ever messed up. Her ex-boyfriend was actually there. I laughed and replied, "That's actually pretty smart planning." Then I calmly walked over to the backup, handed him my wedding ring right in front of everyone, and said, "Tag in, buddy. She's all yours now." The silence in the room was deafening. I never thought I would be the guy who would leave his own wedding anniversary party, but I also never thought my wife would publicly announce that she had a backup plan. The whole thing started 3 weeks earlier when she mentioned wanting to throw a party for our 5th anniversary. I was not really thrilled about the idea. We had been married for 5 years, true, but nothing felt worth celebrating lately. Still, she insisted, saying it would be good for us, that it would help us reconnect with friends we had not seen in a while. I should have paid closer attention to exactly who was on that guest list. The party was at our house in the suburbs. Nothing extravagant, just food, drinks, and about 30 people in our backyard. I was at the grill when I noticed him. Logan, her college ex, the guy she dated for 2 years before we met. I knew they were still on good terms, social media friends, occasional likes on each other's posts, that kind of thing. What I did not know was that he had been invited to our anniversary party. When I asked her about it, she just shrugged and said one of her friends had brought him along. Casual, as if it was no big deal. The first hour went fine. People were eating, drinking, chatting, normal party stuff. I was even starting to relax. Then her friend Vanessa started raising her voice. She had a few drinks, and you know how some people get when they drink. Everything becomes a joke. She was standing with my wife and 3 other women near the patio table. I was about 15 feet away, grabbing another beer from the cooler. That is when I heard it. "Girl, you are so smart," Vanessa was practically yelling. "Having a backup husband right here at the party. If he ever messes up, you are covered." The other women laughed. My wife laughed too. Not a nervous laugh, not an uncomfortable laugh, a genuine, amused laugh. I looked over. Logan was standing right there with her. He had this smug smirk on his face. Not embarrassed, not awkward, confident. For a second, everything stopped. The party noises faded into the background. I watched my wife's face. She was not shutting it down. She was not saying, "That is not funny," or "Do not be ridiculous." She was smiling at him. Then she caught my eye. For a moment, I saw something. Panic, maybe, or guilt, but it vanished quickly, replaced by that same casual smile she had worn all evening. I walked over. Everyone went quiet. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and everyone was clearly just talking about you? It was like that, except I had heard exactly what they were saying. "That is pretty smart planning," I said. My voice came out calm, steady. I even smiled. My wife's face relaxed. She thought I was playing along. Her friends looked relieved. Logan's smirk widened. "I mean, why not have a contingency plan, right?" I continued. "It makes perfect sense." I reached into my pocket and pulled off my wedding ring. It felt heavier than usual. 5 years of marriage, and it took about 2 seconds to slide it off. The backyard went dead silent. Someone turned off the music. I walked straight up to Logan. He was not smiling anymore. His eyes widened as I held out the ring. "Tag in, buddy. She is yours now." I dropped the ring into his hand before he could react. He just stood there, frozen, staring at the ring like it was a pulled grenade. I turned to my wife. She had gone pale. Her mouth was open, but no sound came out. "You wanted a backup? Congratulations. He is your main guy now." I said it loud enough for everyone to hear. "I am done." The silence was deafening. 30 people, and not a single one made a sound. Some were looking at me, some were looking at her. Most were staring at their shoes. I did not wait for a response. I walked right through the house. I grabbed my pickup truck keys off the kitchen counter and left. My own anniversary party, my own house, and I just left. The thing is, I was not even angry in that moment. I was something else, something clearer, like I had been looking at everything through a foggy window for months, and someone had finally wiped it clean. Behind me, I could hear the party breaking up, car doors slamming, voices. Everyone was leaving at once. My phone started vibrating before I even made it to my brother's house. Texts, calls, all from her. I did not answer any of them because here is what I realized standing in that backyard. The joke was not the problem. The backup husband comment was not the problem. The problem was that she laughed. The problem was that she invited him. The problem was the way she looked at him when she thought I was not watching. The problem was that, at some point, I had become the backup plan in my own marriage. My brother did not ask questions when I showed up at his door at 8:30 on a Saturday night. He just looked at my face, stepped aside, and said, "Beers are in the fridge." That is the perk of having a brother who went through his own divorce. He knows when to talk about it, and when to just hand you a beer and turn on the game. My phone would not stop. 23 missed calls by the time I finally turned it off. Most from her, a few from her friends, even one from Logan that I deleted without listening to. I slept on the couch that night, but I did not get much sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that moment. Her laughing, him with his smug smile, the whole scene playing out like I was watching it happen to someone else. Sunday morning, my brother made coffee and sat across from me at his kitchen table. "Are you going to tell me what happened, or do I have to guess?" So I told him everything. The party, the comment, the ring, walking out. When I finished, he just nodded slowly. "Good," he said. "You did the right thing. It does not feel right. It never does at first." He refilled his coffee mug. "But let me ask you a question. How long have you felt like something was off?" That question hit me harder than expected because the truth was, it had been months. Maybe longer. "She has been distant since January," I said. "We barely talk anymore. When we do, it is just surface-level stuff. Bills, schedules, who is getting groceries. Nothing real. When was the last time you guys did something together? Just the two of you." I had to think about it. Christmas, we went to her parents' house, but that was not really together, you know. It was just showing up at the same place. My brother leaned back in his chair. "And this Logan guy, when did he pop back into the picture?" "I do not know exactly. She mentioned bumping into him at the gym a little while back, maybe 2 months ago. She said they grabbed coffee to catch up. I had not thought much of it at the time, but now, sitting in my brother's kitchen, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about all of it. The gym membership she suddenly wanted in February, the new workout clothes, the way she started doing her hair differently. I had noticed it all, but I figured it was just her wanting to feel good about herself. What husband suspects his wife of crossing boundaries just because she joins a gym? "I need to go back to the house," I said. "Grab some things." "You sure that is smart right now? She has work tomorrow. She leaves at 7:30. "I will go then." Monday morning, I waited until 7:45. Then I drove to what used to feel like home. Her car was gone. Good. The house was exactly as we had left it Saturday night. Plates with half-eaten food on the tables, empty glasses everywhere, the grill still out in the backyard. She had not cleaned up a thing. I went straight to our bedroom. I started packing clothes, toiletries, important documents. While I was in the closet, I saw her phone charger on the nightstand. She had left her tablet there too. I should not have looked. I know that, but I did. She was still logged into her messaging apps, and there it was, weeks of conversations with Logan. Nothing physical had happened, but the emotional connection was clear, and it broke my trust in a deeper way. Inside jokes, late-night texts, her complaining about me, about how I did not understand her anymore, about how he always knew how to make her laugh. A message from 3 weeks earlier. "I am glad you are coming to the party. It will be good to see you." His reply. "I would not miss it. It has been too long." Her response. "I know. I missed you." I took pictures of everything with my phone. Then I finished packing and left, heading back to my brother's place. I called a lawyer. I set up an appointment for Wednesday. The receptionist asked if I wanted to schedule a consultation or move forward with filing. I said filing. That was when it really hit me. This was not just a fight. This was not something we were going to work through. I was getting a divorce. My phone buzzed. A text from her. "We need to talk, please." I replied, "There is nothing to talk about. You made your choice Saturday night." Her response came immediately. "It was just a joke. You are overreacting." I stared at that message for a long time. Overreacting. Like I was the problem. Like I was the one who disrespected our marriage in front of 30 people. I sent one more text. I saw the messages. "Do not contact me again except through a lawyer." Then I blocked her. My brother got home from work that evening and found me sitting on his couch staring into space. "You okay?" he asked. I found the messages between her and him. He sat down next to me. "How bad is it?" "Bad enough." I showed him some screenshots. He read them, his jaw clenching a little tighter with each one. "Man, I am sorry. The crazy part is, I do not even think they crossed that physical line. Not yet, anyway. But she was gearing up for it, testing the waters, keeping him around as an option. That is almost worse, my brother said. At least if it was just physical, you could write it off as a mistake. This is calculated. He was right. She had planned this, maybe not consciously, but she was setting up her exit strategy, making sure she had a place to land before she jumped. And that party, it was not to celebrate our anniversary. It was to parade him in front of me, to see if I would notice, to see if I would do anything. Well, I did something. I spent that week at my brother's getting my life in order. Met with the lawyer on Wednesday, filed for divorce on Thursday. By Friday, she had been served the papers. She called my brother's phone since I had blocked hers. He handed me the phone with a look that said, "Up to you." I took it. "What? How could you file for divorce without even trying to fix this?" Her voice was high, strained. She had been crying. Fix what exactly? The fact that she had crossed serious emotional boundaries with her ex for months, or the fact that she humiliated me at our own anniversary party. I was not cheating. It was just. Friends do not text each other at midnight. Friends do not complain to each other about their spouses. Friends do not look at each other the way you two were looking Saturday night. Silence on the other end. "You wanted a backup husband?" I said. "Congratulations. Now you can have him full time. We are done." I hung up. My brother handed me another beer. "Proud of you, man. That took guts." But I did not feel brave. I felt tired. Tired of being the safe choice. Tired of being plan B in my own marriage. Tired of being the guy who was supposed to just accept it when his wife kept another man in her back pocket. The thing nobody tells you about the end of a marriage is how many little things you have to untangle. Joint bank accounts, insurance, her car lease that I had signed with her, her name on my emergency contacts at work. 5 years of an intertwined life that now had to be separated. But I was doing it, one step at a time, because staying would have meant accepting that I was not enough, that I had to compete for my own wife's attention, that I should be grateful she picked me over her runner-up. And I was not going to live like that. Not for her, not for anyone. 2 weeks after filing for divorce, I started noticing things I should have seen months earlier. I was looking through old bank statements at my lawyer's office when it hit me. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I had gotten her flowers and booked a dinner at this Italian place she loved. Nothing extravagant, but thoughtful. The statement showed a charge that same day, $49 at a downtown coffee shop at 2 in the afternoon, when she told me she was working late at the office. I checked March. Another coffee shop charge, this one for $62. That is 2 drinks and lunch. April had 3 similar charges, always during work hours, always when she said she was busy with meetings or projects. My lawyer, an older guy named Richard Ellis, looked over my shoulder at the statements. "Building a timeline?" he asked. "Something like that. Good instinct. Judges like documentation. Shows you are not just reacting emotionally." But I was not doing it for the judge. I was doing it because I needed to know, needed to understand exactly when my marriage ended, because it did not end Saturday night at that party. That was just when I finally admitted it was over. The real ending had been playing out in slow motion for months. I went further back. January. That was when she joined the gym. I checked our credit card statements online. Sure enough, there was the membership fee, but there was something else too. A charge at a sporting goods store on the same day, $129. I called the store, asked what someone could buy for that amount. The guy on the phone said probably workout clothes, maybe shoes. Did I have the receipt? I did not. But I remembered something. She came home that day with just a gym bag. Said the membership came with it as a promotion. No shopping bag from the sporting goods store, no new workout clothes I ever saw her wear. So where did that stuff go? My brother got home from work that evening and found me surrounded by printouts. Bank statements, credit card bills, phone records I got through my lawyer. "Looks like you are investigating a crime," he said. "Maybe I am." I showed him what I had found. The pattern of charges, the times and dates. He sat down and started helping me put the puzzle together. "Look at this," he said, pointing to March 15th. "Coffee at 2 in the afternoon. But you have a text from her here at 2:30 saying she is stuck in a meeting and will not be home until 7. I checked my phone's text history. He was right. She had texted me from wherever she was having coffee with Logan, lying about where she was and what she was doing. How many times? I asked. How many times did she lie? We counted at least 15 times where her story did not match the financial records. 15 times she told me she was somewhere else, doing something else, with someone else. And those were just the ones I could prove. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something told me to pick up. Hello. Hey man, it is Marcus from the party. Marcus, one of the guys in her friend group. Decent enough, though I never spent much time talking to him in private. What do you want? Listen, I know it is weird, but I felt like you needed to know something about that night. I sat up straighter. I am listening. That joke about the backup husband. It was not spontaneous. Vanessa had been planning to say it all week. She told a few of us beforehand. Thought it would be funny. My blood ran cold. She planned it. Yeah. And my wife knew. They talked about it. She said it would be fine, that you would laugh it off. I could not speak for a moment. When I finally found my voice, it came out flat. She knew they were going to say that, and she invited him anyway. Sorry, man. I thought about saying something that night, but it all happened so fast. The way you handled it, though, that took guts. Most guys would have just made a scene or gotten drunk and done something stupid. You just walked away. Respect. After he hung up, I sat there trying to process it. She had not just allowed the joke. She had approved it, probably laughed about it with her friends beforehand. The whole thing had been a test, or a power play. Or maybe she just wanted to see if she could get away with it. Well, she found out. My brother ordered pizza that night. We sat on his couch eating and watching the game. But I was not really paying attention. My mind was stuck on that conversation with Marcus. You know what the worst part is? I said during a commercial break. I do not think she ever loved me. Not really. Do not do that to yourself. No, think about it. We met right after she and Logan broke up. She was on the rebound. I was the safe choice. The guy with a decent job who does not party too much. The guy who would stick around. You do not know that. Do I not? Look at the proof. The second he pops back into her life, she starts pulling away from me. All those feelings she thought she got over, she had not. They were just waiting for him to show up again. My brother did not argue. He knew I was probably right. The next morning, I got a call from my lawyer. She wants to contest the divorce. Claims you abandoned the marriage by leaving, that we should try counseling first. Tell her no, I said. We are way past counseling. She is also asking for spousal support. Says she cannot afford the house on her own. The house is a rental. She can move somewhere cheaper. Or better yet, she can move in with Logan. Richard Ellis chuckled. I will pass that along in more professional terms. Whatever you think is best. I just want this over with. After I hung up, I realized something. I was not angry anymore. That initial rage from Saturday night had burned itself out. Now I just felt empty, like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left nothing but a hollow space. I had spent 5 years building a life with someone who kept an exit strategy the whole time. 5 years thinking we were partners, when in reality, I was just the placeholder until something better came along. That afternoon, I went for a drive. No destination in mind, just needed to move, to think, to process everything. I ended up at the park where we had our first date. It was a sunny Tuesday, middle of the afternoon. Kids on the playground, couples walking dogs, life carrying on normally while mine was falling apart. I sat on the same bench we sat on that first day. She was nervous, I remembered, kept playing with her hair. I thought it was cute. Now I wondered if she was nervous because she was still hung up on Logan. If even then, on our very first date, I was the backup plan. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I did not recognize. This is Vanessa. I am so sorry about what happened. I never meant for things to turn out like this. I stared at the message. Never meant for things to turn out like this. But she had planned the joke. She set the whole thing in motion. I typed back. You meant every word. You just did not expect me to do anything about it. Her reply came fast. She misses you. She made a mistake. She made a choice. There is a difference. I blocked that number too. By the time I got back to my brother's place, the sun was setting. Another day down. Another day closer to being legally free from a marriage that was over long before I realized it. My brother was making dinner when I walked in. Spaghetti, nothing fancy, but it smelled good. How are you holding up? He asked. Getting better. And it was true. Slowly, one day at a time, one uncovered lie at a time, one block number at a time. I was getting better. 3 weeks into staying at my brother's, she finally stopped trying to call. The texts slowed down too, from dozens a day to maybe 1 or 2. Then nothing. I thought it would be a relief. Instead, it felt like a confirmation. She had given up, which meant she had never been fighting for me in the first place. She was fighting so she would not be alone. My lawyer called on a Thursday afternoon. She wants to meet face to face. Says there are things she needs to say that cannot be done through lawyers. No. I told her you would probably say that. But she is insisting. Says she will agree to whatever terms you want if you just hear her out. I thought about it. The terms I wanted were simple. She keeps her car, I keep mine. We split what is in the joint account half and half. Done. If one conversation could make that happen without months of legal back and forth, maybe it was worth it. Fine. But somewhere public, and I want you there. I cannot be present for personal conversations, conflict of interest. But I can sit at a table nearby if it makes you comfortable. We set it up for Saturday morning, a diner on the east side of town. Neutral territory. Plenty of witnesses if things went south. I got there 15 minutes early, ordered a coffee. Richard Ellis walked in 10 minutes later, grabbed a booth 3 tables away, and opened a newspaper like he was just there for breakfast. She walked in right on time. I barely recognized her. She had lost weight, dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked like she had not slept. She slid into the booth across from me, did not order anything. Just sat there with her hands folded on the table. "Thank you for meeting me," she said quietly. I did not respond. I just waited. "I know you are angry. You have every right to be. But I need you to understand something. Nothing happened with Logan. We never crossed that line. We never even kissed. You think that makes it better? I am just telling you the truth. You saw the messages. You know what it looked like. It was just talking. Just friendship." I leaned forward. "Let me ask you a question. If the situation were reversed, if I invited a former girlfriend to our anniversary party, if my friends joked about her being my backup wife, if you found months of messages between us complaining about you and talking about how much I missed her, would you call that just friendship?" She looked down at her hands. "That is what I thought. I was confused," she said. "About us, mostly. When Logan came back into my life, it brought up all these old feelings, things I thought I was over. I did not know how to handle it. So you handled it by lying to me for months, sneaking around behind my back, and letting your friends humiliate me in front of everyone we know. I never wanted to humiliate you. The joke was supposed to be funny. I did not think you would react like that." "Like what?" "Like someone with self-respect." Her eyes filled with tears. "I thought we could work through it. Go to counseling. Figure out what went wrong. I know what went wrong. You never got over him. I was just the guy who was there when you needed someone. The safe option. The backup plan. That is not true. Is it not? Think about it. We met 2 months after you and Logan broke up. You were a wreck. I was the nice guy who listened to you cry about him, who made you feel better, who did not pressure you for anything. And eventually, you convinced yourself it was love." She was crying now, real tears rolling down her face. A year ago, it would have broken me, made me want to comfort her, fix whatever was wrong. Now, I just felt tired. But it was not love, I continued. It was convenience. It was gratitude. It was you settling for someone who would never hurt you the way he did. And the second he showed up again, all of that fell apart. "I love you," she whispered. "No, you do not. You love the idea of me. You love having someone around who makes you feel safe. But you do not love me, because if you did, you never would have done any of this." The waitress came by, asked if we wanted to order food. We both said no. She left us alone again. "I made a mistake," my wife, my soon-to-be ex-wife, said. "I see that now. But people make mistakes. That does not mean we have to throw away 5 years of marriage. You are right. People make mistakes. But this was not a mistake. It was a choice. You chose to invite him to the party. You chose to sign off on that joke. You chose to meet him for coffee and lunch and whatever else while lying to me about where she was. So that is it. You are just giving up on us. I am not giving up on anything. You gave up months ago. I am just finally accepting it." She reached across the table like she was going to take my hand. I pulled back. She froze, then slowly pulled her hand away. "Is there anything I can say? Anything I can do? You can sign the divorce papers. You can agree to the terms, and you can let me move on with my life. What about the house? All our stuff. Keep whatever you want. I do not care about the furniture or the dishes or any of it. I just want out." She was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was barely above a whisper. "And Logan? What about him? You mean it? When you said he could have me." I almost laughed. "Are you asking for my permission to date your backup husband?" "No, I do not know. I am trying to figure out what happens now. What happens now is you do whatever you want. You are free. That is what you wanted, right? No. The freedom to explore your options. Well, you have it. I am not standing in your way anymore. That is not what I wanted. Then what did you want? To keep me as your safe option while you saw if something better came along? To have your cake and eat it too? She did not answer, because we both knew that was exactly what she wanted. I stood up. I tossed a $10 bill on the table for my coffee. My lawyer has the papers. Sign them. Move on. Find whatever it is you are looking for. Just do it without me. Please do not go. Not like this. Like what? With my dignity and self-respect intact? Sorry, but I am not going to sit here and let you make me feel guilty for refusing to be someone's second choice. I walked out of that diner, and I did not look back. Richard Ellis followed me out to the parking lot. You all right? He asked. Yeah, I am fine. That was brutal to watch. But you handled it well. Kept your cool. Did not get emotional. I was emotional for 3 weeks. I am done with that now. He nodded. She will sign the papers. I saw it on her face in there. She knows it is over. Good. How long until it is final? 60 days minimum. But probably closer to 90 days with processing times. 3 months. 90 days until I was legally free from a marriage that had been dead for longer than either of us had admitted. I drove back to my brother's place. He was watching the game in the living room. How did it go? He asked. About how you would expect. She cried, said she made a mistake, asked if there was anything she could do. What did you say? I told her to sign the papers and move on. My brother smiled. Proud of you, man. You did not cave. Not even a little. You know what is crazy? Sitting across from her today, I realized I do not miss her. I miss being married. I miss having someone to come home to. But her specifically? I do not miss her at all. That is how you know you made the right call. That night, I could not sleep. Not because I was upset or regretting anything. I kept thinking about the look on her face when I walked out of that diner. The realization hitting her that I was really gone, that there would be no dramatic reconciliation, that she had bet on me being too weak to leave, and she had lost. My phone buzzed around midnight. A text from her number. I had unblocked it after the meeting, figuring we might need to coordinate logistics. I am sorry. For everything. You deserved better. I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to reply, to say something to make sure she understood exactly how much she had hurt me. But what was the point? Instead, I typed, I know. And I left it at that. Because I did deserve better. I deserved someone who chose me first, who did not need a backup plan, who did not measure me against a former boyfriend every time things got tough. And now I was free to find that person. Or maybe not. Maybe I would just focus on me for a while. Rediscover who I was without someone else's drama weighing me down. Either way, I was done being Plan B. 6 weeks after walking out of that diner, I signed the final divorce papers. Richard Ellis called to tell me it was official. I was a single man again. Congratulations, he said. Go celebrate. But I did not feel like celebrating. I felt relieved, like I had been carrying something heavy for months and was finally able to put it down. I had moved out of my brother's house 2 weeks earlier, found a small house to rent on the other side of town. Nothing fancy. 2 bedrooms, a decent yard, quiet neighborhood. It was mine. No shared history, no ghosts. Work had been my saving grace through it all. I threw myself into projects, picked up extra shifts when I could. My boss noticed, pulled me aside one day, and said I was in line for a promotion. More money, better hours, a fresh start in more ways than one. I started going to the gym. Not the one she joined, a different one across town. I started running again. Something I did before we got married, but stopped for some reason I could not remember. Now, I remembered why I loved it. The clarity, the silence, just me and the road. One Saturday morning, I bumped into Marcus at the hardware store. He was picking up paint supplies. I was looking at grills. Hey man, he said. How have you been? Much better. I heard about the divorce going through. Sorry it came to that. Do not be. Best thing that could have happened. He hesitated, then said, you should know something. Her and Logan. It lasted about 2 weeks. I was not surprised. What happened? Turns out he was not actually interested. He liked the attention, the ego boost of knowing she was interested. But when it became something he actually had to commit to, he bailed. So, she pretty much lost both of you. She has been calling around trying to get sympathy. Most of us are not buying it. I nodded, picked up the grill I was looking at. Thanks for telling me. But honestly, it does not change anything. Even if they had gotten married, I made the right choice. Yeah, you did. That night, I put the grill together in my backyard, invited my brother over. We cooked steaks and drank beer and talked about everything except her. You look different, he said. Better. I feel different. Lighter, maybe. Like I can breathe again. You will start dating again eventually. No rush, though. I am good on my own for now. Learning who I am without someone else's chaos. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. I almost did not check it, but curiosity won out. It is Logan. I owe you an apology. I showed it to my brother. He laughed. Are you going to reply? He does not deserve my energy. Neither of them do. I deleted the message, blocked the number, went back to my steak. 3 months after the divorce was final, I was driving home from work when I saw her. She was at a gas station, pumping gas into her car. She looked tired, older somehow. For a split second, I thought about pulling in, asking how she was, being civil. But then I remembered that party, that joke, that smug smirk on Logan's face, and I kept driving. Because some chapters just need to be closed completely. No epilogue, no footnotes, just done. I went home, grilled some chicken, sat on my back patio watching the sunset. My phone was quiet. My house was peaceful. My life was my own. And for the first time in years, that was enough. A year after that anniversary party, I was sitting in my backyard on a Saturday afternoon when I got a message request on social media. Her name popped up. I stared at it for a minute, debated ignoring it, but something made me open it. I know I have no right to contact you, but I need to say this. You were right about everything. I was using you as a safety net. I never got over him, and when he came back, I convinced myself those feelings meant something. They did not mean anything. He did not want me. Not really. And I threw away the only person who actually did. I am sorry. I hope you are happy. I read it twice, then replied with one sentence. I am. That was it. That was all she needed to know. I did not tell her about the promotion or the house, or how I had started seeing someone new, someone who chose me first, someone who did not need a backup plan. She did not need to know any of that. My happiness was not about her anymore. I deleted the message thread, went back to my book. My phone rang. The woman I had been seeing for 3 months. Her name was Natalie. She worked in accounting at a firm 2 buildings down from mine. We met at a coffee shop, started talking, kept talking. Hey, I answered. Still on for dinner tonight? I would not miss it. Good. I am making that pasta you liked. After we hung up, I thought about how different this felt, how easy. No games, no hidden agendas, just 2 people enjoying each other's company. My brother stopped by that evening before I left for Natalie's. You look good, man, he said. Happy. I am. Think you will ever tell Natalie that whole anniversary party story? Maybe someday. But not yet. Right now, I am just focused on building something new. Something better. He smiled. Good call. Driving to Natalie's that night, I passed by the street where the old rental house was, the one I had shared with my ex. I did not even slow down, did not feel a thing. That part of my life was over. I had walked out of that party with nothing but my dignity. Turns out, that was the only thing worth keeping anyway. Natalie opened the door with a smile. Dinner was ready. We ate and talked and laughed. Simple, genuine, exactly what I needed. Later that night, driving home, I realized something. That anniversary party was not the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was the best thing. Because it forced me to stop settling. To stop accepting less than I deserved. I had handed my wedding ring to a man who did not want it, walked away from a woman who did not value it, and found my way to something real. The silence in that backyard had been deafening, but the peace I found after it, that was louder. Comment. Hey guys, I wanted to share a few thoughts with you after this story. Self-respect is something we should never compromise on in a relationship. You deserve to be someone's first choice, not their safety net. Setting healthy boundaries shows that you value yourself and your peace. Being honest about what you will and won't accept is an act of kindness toward yourself. Walking away when something hurts you deeply takes strength, but it also makes space for true healing. Remember that your happiness should never depend on being someone's second option. Take the time you need to heal and rebuild your life on your own terms. You're worthy of a love that feels calm, honest, and respectful. I hope this encourages you to always choose yourself and the peace you truly deserve. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.